Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today we're thinking about radical self-care. That's a thinker. So luckily for me, I have Lauri on my show, who's a lovely guest who's going to be sharing her thoughts and her time about this topic that we all really need to think about. So, Lauri, gotta ask you, radical self-care, what does that mean to you when you hear those words?
Radical self-care. I separate self-care and radical self-care. And self-care is taking care of the body. It's doing all the things we know to do. It's eating well, getting enough sleep, exercising, all of that stuff. Radical self-care is the part of self-care that feeds the soul, that revitalizes and energizes and gives us what we need to increase our life force energy and really serve the people that are most important to us and the people around us that we are here to serve.
You know what I loved? What I loved most about what you said is that feeding your soul. Nobody says
So,
that. Nobody
yeah.
says that anymore. Nobody talks about feeding their soul. That's
Yeah, it's critical.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely is. People don't realize how much our soul is needing us. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And we are so on a constant go in and out of life as if it's on rotation. But in reality, like if you take a second and just pause, you can connect with your spirit, your soul, your intuition, that gut instincts, and
Yeah.
really get some real information. You know what I mean? Information to grow, information to evolve, information to
Yeah.
be cautious. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
in those instances, it tells you, it warns you, like, hey, honey, red flag, red flag. I need to buy little flags. Goodness, where's my flags? Goodness. Anyways, so what does
Yeah.
feeding your soul mean to you when you say that? Because I would love to know more.
Yeah. So I have a method called joyful play. And it's a method around feeding your soul. And it's that radical self care. And it's where the spirit of play lives within the self care.
Oh,
So, what I mean by that is when we can find play that brings us joy and feeds our soul, that's a whole nother level of being able to revitalize ourselves and energize ourselves. And sometimes we have to redefine what play is because it's unique for each person. We grow up thinking you have to be big and gregarious and it's for kids. And, once you're an adult, you don't play anymore. It's frivolous, but actually, it's one of the most important things you can do for yourself.
mm-hmm.
And when you find that, and play can be very different for a lot of people. And when you can find what that is that brings you joy and feeds your soul, and you can put it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and do it a couple times during your day, you can create a momentum of keeping yourself energized so that you're always kind of moving in an optimal energetic place. You're always kind of connecting.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way
Yeah.
that you put that because it really does make sense. And it really puts it into perspective in a way where you were like, you really have to take a second and think about the ways that you're feeding your soul, the way that you're playing. Like, what do you consider? Because, like you said earlier, it's subjective, very subjective. And depending on what stage in life that we are, for the audience that's listening to this, it comes down to what stage in your life are you in? You know what I mean? Ask yourself. That
Yeah.
self-reflection really comes into part. Like, how do I enjoy myself? How do I play? Like what brings me joy? What makes me chuckle? You know what I mean? Like a simple
Yeah.
chuckle can heal your spirit in such a way
Yes.
that people don't know. And that's the reason why I love speaking about this because when I think of radical self-care, I think of the word radical right away because it's extreme. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's focus, determination's right there. So it's like then you added self-care right behind it. And that's like, okay, how am I taking care of myself in the regular way, like all you said before? And then how do I go deeper? You know what I mean? Because that's what it comes down to. You have to go deeper. So when you
Yeah.
said that earlier, it was just like, wow, that really makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So I'm curious, when did you come across in your life when you realized, I need to go radical with my self-care.
when I hit rock bottom.
I love
And,
that. That's a perfect answer.
I had a point in my life that was I was 33. So this was 26 years ago that I had been doing all the things. I had a business. I was, checking the boxes. It's like I had all these goals set towards like when I'm 35, married, kids, white picket fence, 2 point,
Yeah.
kids, whatever. And at 33, it just blew up. And I lost a child at birth. I got divorced, sold my house, I moved, and I was fried. I was so fried. And I was sitting in, I had moved into my new place and I was sitting on the floor. And I just thought, you know what? I I'm the only one now that can kind of blow up my life. And I need to make some changes. I want to live the life I want to live. And I have got to be the priority. Because if we don't give ourselves permission to be that priority, we will never have what it takes to reach our full potential. We will never have what it takes to take care of our families, serve the people that we're supposed to serve and have the impact that we want to have. And life's, busy
Yes.
in a lot of many different ways. And you say self-care, and I hear a lot of times, I don't have time,
That's true.
right? We don't give ourselves that permission. And it doesn't have to be an all-day thing. And it's like, what is the most practical way to energize, revitalize, and take care of the body? And that takes time too. But how do you feed your soul? How do you connect so that you tap into that extra layer and bring in that spirit of play, which taps into that life force energy? And what is that? For me, there's stillness. There's a chord through a lot of my play, which there's a stillness around it. And when I get up in the morning, I love to just get my cup of coffee and sit for a few minutes. And it makes me so happy. Just, it doesn't matter if it's like 10 minutes. And that's joyful play to me,
It's the
you
simple
know,
things.
and that's unique. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to sit still. And that's okay. But
Yeah.
what can you do in like 5 minutes? I have a client that she works all day in an office. She's kind of sitting down. And she started just getting up and taking 10 minutes to go take a walk outside in nature and go to the local coffee shop that's around the corner and grab a cup of coffee. And that to her is joyful play because she kind of sneaks away.
Yeah.
So there's some mischievousness in it. And that's what it is. It's just finding these little things and how do you sprinkle them in your day so that you don't end up crashing because you're doing things for everybody else. And
Exactly.
particularly as women, it's kind of taboo to put ourselves as a priority because we feel guilty or we feel selfish. But if you
Yes.
don't, one, what are you teaching your children?
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And
you want to be there and you want to be optimal energy and vitality. And
I'm so glad that you bring that up because the fact that your client was able to escape her reality and just take a walk, even if it was for 10 minutes, I mean, that right there, you just gave yourself permission to do something so simple as just escape. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah,
that's the freedom of it. And I loved how you said that. People would say, oh, I don't have time to do self-care. I don't have time.
Yep.
And it's funny because that was one of my main excuses too. So I don't have enough time to take a shower. I don't have enough time to do my hair. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And then I realized if I just take a shower, I am already better. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
already a better human being. Like just take
Yeah.
a shower, ladies. Like
Yeah.
this sounds weird, but when you're a mother, especially to little kids, it's really, really hard to find the time to
It is.
manage that in because I have
It
two kids
is.
under two, and I'm just like,
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're
sometimes,
busy.
you know? But when you said that, it makes sense because I seen a change in myself. Because in the beginning, when I had my kids, I felt overwhelmed because it was all about them, and them, and my husband, my fiance. And then I was like, no, I need to like refocus on me because I'm feeling drained. I feel absolutely drained and
Yes.
exhausted, and I'm starting to hate
Yes.
everybody in this house.
Well, you get resentful when you don't take care of
Exactly.
yourself and you're not putting yourself as a priority. It's
Mhm.
usually the people you love the most that get the worst of you.
Exactly. And I love that you put it just plain and simple because, yes, I do love them. You know what I mean? Hands down, I love my family. I wouldn't do anything to them,
Hmm.
hurt them. But man, if I don't take care of me, I just don't want nothing to do with any of them. So it just shows that that self-care inside really creates a ripple effect so that you can love better, be more passionate, be more empathetic, be more understanding, not so uptight. You know what I mean? You're
Your
able
health
to
gets better. There's
exactly
so many advantages to it.
your
Yeah.
perception
Yeah.
alone gets better because things don't bother you. You're able to let things go. Your anxiety starts calming down. Your worries start to calm down. And for anybody that's listening that has really bad anxiety, you know it's
Mhm.
hard to let that go sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you find
Yeah.
something that to loosen your anxiety, it's like, oh wow, I should have been doing this a long time ago. And it's so simple. It's just a simple shower. And then after I graduated from taking a shower more often, I like started doing facial cares and oils and treatments. And now I feel better because I'm able to take care of myself the way that makes me feel good about myself. And
Yeah.
sometimes for us as women, and even men, because even sometimes men, they don't take care of their appearance the way that they feel like they want to, because they feel that there's a stigma of taking care of themselves for some reason. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I feel that for any of my men listeners out there, take care of yourself, you too.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for you as a
Yeah.
man that's constantly working and constantly providing for your family or just for yourself. I don't know your situation, but at the end of the day, men need to start also taking care of that radical self-care
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
to be ahead of the household, you need to be sane enough to run your household. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I love that you said just you started just taking a shower. Well, and even if you love to sing, sing in the shower, sing at the top of your lungs because that's that play piece. That's where you
Mhm.
can start to feed your soul and amp up just a shower.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Another little twist just to add on to it, or if you like to dance, be safe. Use the stickies on your thing, no tripping or falling, but head wiggle it out if you want to. But no one's looking where you have that freedom, and
Yeah.
going back to the beginning when you said that you took that second, I mean those 5 to 10 minutes just to have coffee and peace.
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
Girl.
yes. Yes, yes,
Measurement
yes.
two, under two. Oh my Lord.
Believe me, if I could run away in a little hobby, I would. But no, just to have that, even just a minute of no one touching me, sticking their fingers in my food or drink or anything like that, just for like 5 minutes, man, that's
Yeah.
it's a blessing for me too. So yeah,
Yeah.
so when you said that, I was like, yes. And then quietness, just to have just that peace and quiet, nothing on, no nothing. All you hear is there's just the motor of the refrigerator running,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
just so calming. Like for some people, it is frightening because they can't be in their own thoughts, but that I feel like that comes down to in their healing. That so it comes down to more in that aspect that you have to start going towards.
Yeah.
But I love looking up quotes. I mean, I feel like I'm the quote queen because I'm always posting up quotes. So I found a quote that I want to pick your brain on and want to know your thoughts. So if you don't
Okay.
mind, can I say the quote? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So the quote is self-care is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. So what do you think about when you hear that?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. there's nothing selfish about self-care. And, if people want to call it selfish, great. I'll be selfish all day long to give myself permission because my daughter and my son have grown up watching me take that time for myself. So now they have permission to take that time for themselves.
Yeah.
And when I love it when my daughter will say, I just need a minute. And she'll just go give herself some time.
To be so in tune at such a young age, and you taught her that. That's beauty. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful in this moment, just so that to know that if you were to die today, you know that your daughter would have peace because she knows how to take care of her inner self in that manner.
Yes.
That's a skill that is beautiful to know that to have your children have. That's
Because
I applaud you
we
for
didn't
that.
grow up that way. We grew up like you have to take care of, you have to serve, you have to, and we watched our mothers. My mother didn't take time for herself and she just burnt herself out,
Yeah, exactly.
and th- it's just so important just in not only the health aspects of it, but your confidence, how well you can hold your power, your patience levels, especially when you've got little ones or teenagers, or,
Yeah.
but you teach them so much by how you be and the permissions you give yourself. And then they learn to really honor themselves. So self-preservation, yes.
I love that.
But really, it's about honoring self because I
Exactly.
got a
Honoring.
lot I want to do in the world and I got to honor me first so I can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. And I'm glad that I'm able to find these type of quotes because it just like my podcast said, it's about thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you did bring a great perspective about honoring yourself, because for any of those people who are very religious, if this is your temple, why aren't you honoring it by just honoring
Right.
what's inside? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
and what's inside is your heart, you know what I mean? Your spirit. You want to protect your heart, but you don't want to shield it to the point where you don't feel anything. You know what I mean? There's a difference between allowing emotions in and out versus creating a wall and just throwing hate out, because now there's such a wall where you no longer can send out love because you no longer receive love. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to start that healing process and really
Yeah.
honor who you are as a being. And that means everything that you are, the ugly, the bad, and that's why I love when you were so transparent about, oh, I hit rock bottom. And that's when I realized I had to focus on me, because most people, when they hit rock bottom, yeah, they may get that epiphany moment like, oh, damn, I should have done something different, or I need to do something different going forward. But sometimes people don't get that. Some people are in rock bottom and they're like, oh, so now this is where I stay. And it's like, no, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there
Oh,
in rock bottom. You can grow, you can evolve, you can move forward from this. It's about changing your perspective. And I think your perspective is very important when it comes to this. I mean, what are your opinions on perspective? I know we kind of dabbled into it a little bit during this
yeah.
conversation, but
You know, it's a complete paradigm shift from generational how we've grown up and the beliefs that we just accept sometimes
yeah,
because we've watched it. But to just change that, just tweak the perception and look at a different lens instead of watching our parents, it could be your father, your mother. I think I'll go down to where they're not taking care of themselves. They get into resent. You get angry. You take it out on the people you love the most because they're the safest. It's this cycle. But when you can turn the love within, like you were talking about, I love that you said that, and that we honor the body, we take care of the body, our temple. It's the only one we're going to get. And then we tap in and we feed the soul too, and we connect to that piece. It just magnifies everything. And then we have so much more to give, to share, to be the example of. One of my mentors was Mary Kay Ash, and she'd say, your action speaks so loudly, I can't hear your words.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
And so I want the people around me to have permission to take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Because it helps our health. It helps our relationships. When we love ourselves, we have it to give. If we can't take care of ourselves and love ourselves, we have nothing to give.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't fill someone's cup when your cup is already empty.
And just when we honor that, the self-worth gets ignited.
Mm-hmm.
And we sit more and more in our worthiness.
Yeah.
That we came in with. We are absolutely 100% worthy because we're here.
Exactly. I love that.
And we learn the opposite. And now we're bringing it back because every time you take care of yourself, you're teaching and telling yourself, I am worthy.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm curious, what would you tell your younger self if you could tell your younger self anything? Doesn't matter what age of your younger self, whatever younger self that you wanna claim, what would you tell your younger self?
That, you're absolutely worthy and you can create whatever you want. And you can only be the perfection from which you come.
Mm. Ooh, that was deep. Ladies and gentlemen, were you prepared for that? I don't think so. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. I think that's something that we all need to listen to, that we all need to take into consideration because this is something that, like you said, that's been ongoing and then now we're trying to break it. So to start thinking about our radical self-care in a different way. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, are you taking care of yourself? Are you making sure that yourself feels that you feel good? You know what I mean? It's just a peace, and just even if it's for 5 minutes, the life is chaotic. It comes and goes. It has its ups and downs, but can you find peace, even if it's for 5 minutes in a day? And if your answer is no, then you need to start time management. You know what I mean? You need to evaluate your time, your schedule, and really see how you can squeeze it in because you deserve it. Even if it's 5, goodness, you give your children so much time, you give your job so much of your life where people basically work at their job that you deserve to at least give yourself more time than just a shower or just to sleep or just to eat because people don't even eat nowadays. You know what I mean? Because they're running all over the place.
They're on the run.
Yeah, they don't
Eating.
even eat, or they
They're in
eat
the
junk
car.
food. Yeah, or they don't eat healthy foods because they're just not focusing about it. But they need to realize like foods have a big impact on how you feel. I mean, you're wondering why you're so draggy and tired, but what have you been eating? You know what I mean? What have you been feeding your stomach as well as what have you been feeding your thoughts and your mind? I feel like both places have a big impact in our lives and what happens after them and what and how it's affected. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like your environment or you don't like how your life is turning out, well, then the question comes back to you because you're the main denominator. You know what I mean? Especially for those people who have moved because I was one of them. You know what I mean? I'm guilty as charged. I would move to a place until I feel safe or I feel good enough, but then I realized it wasn't the places, it was always me. You know what I mean? I had to make myself feel safe. I had to make myself feel good. And I think people always have to bring that into perspective as well. Like that comes down to self-care. Like I wasn't providing the self-care that I knew I needed. And people don't realize that sometimes you have to provide your own self-care to find love. To find love, you also need to take care of yourself first. And I think that's very important. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we find the time for things we value. Right?
Yep.
So if you can't find time for yourself, it's something to look at.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to value yourself, and honor yourself to find 10, 15 minutes, five, a couple times a day, how are you going to find that out there?
I'm gonna need you to come back on my show. We're gonna have to figure out another topic because this has been such a great time and time is running out and I'm disappointed.
Oh, I know. This is
I
fun.
I know this has been such a great conversation because it truly makes you think. And if you're listening and you're not thinking, then you must be distracted and doing something else because goodness, this is a real thinker. This is the part where you have to self-reflect and really ponder, marinate it, let it slow cook, let it really steam up there because we need this radical change. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We do.
Oh, yeah.
Life in this generation, everybody, we all need this big radical self-care and this change and this perspective to move forward. So I guess to fully start wrapping up the show, what can be some lasting words of wisdom that you can leave my audience off with to keep on thinking? Even though you already gave us so many great points, what can be some lasting words to keep us thinking?
You're worth it. And you're beautiful. And you're here for a reason. And take the time, give yourself the permission to really value and honor and love yourself by taking care of yourself and connecting to your soul, your higher self, and feeding that every day. It will make such a huge difference in your life.
There you go. I love it. You
Yeah.
really do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your wake-up call. If I could shake you over the speaker or YouTube or wherever you're listening and watching this, wake up, and pay attention because the roses are out there for you to smell. Nature is beautiful for you to just absorb and play and enjoy it. Laughing, comedy, anything that brings you
Yeah.
joy, tap into it because you deserve to have that light within you ignite again. So if you feel your light is dim, well, light it up again. And if you guys want to know more about Lauri, because obviously she's a hit, she's so fabulous, and you have to check her out because she has great minds. Great perspective in this topic. And if you guys want to know more or just curious, have questions or anything, please check her out. I have her on my website. She has her lovely picture there. Just boop, just right under it goes to her website. So you find all the greatness that Lauri has to offer to the world. So don't forget to check it out. Alrighty. So always keep thinking, y'all.